suppose, and I think Irish people need to look at where did we go wrong in the past in order for all of these things to happen. And we have to be careful to not repeat the mistakes of the past that has brought us to these situations. And one of the key things behind this conversation today is the fact that the recent video I posted discussing about is Islam trying to take over Ireland, to really give a deeper understanding of the Islamic culture and Irish people, and the situations that happen, it's really brought up the conversation, right? And one of the things that it's brought to me is Irish people need to look at where did we go wrong to allow us to be in these situations that we feel this way and all of these things are happening. Where were we ignorant? Where did we not take our own culture seriously? Where did we not take our own religion seriously? Because some of the comment sections in the post was Ireland is a Christian country, it belongs to Christians, it belongs to God, and Islam has no place in Ireland. But I'm going to ask the question, and if we're honest, and this is where we got to be honest, right? We got to understand what we did wrong in any progressive situation, right? Pointing the finger is great, but it's not so good because you'll always get 2 or 3 fingers pointed back at you. When you point it back at yourself, it's better because you can evolve, you can learn from your own mistakes, and you're corrected. It makes you a better person. And the Irish people, where I think the mistakes have happened as well, religion in this country, Christianity, Catholicism, has not been taken serious. It's never been taken serious. And I do understand that there's things that have happened in the past that damage that relationship between the Irish people and the Catholic Church and Christianity as a whole, that it's not so much taken seriously, whether it's in schools, whether it's in family homes, whether it's in day-to-day living, right? But this is now, people got to understand, you're not fighting a physical battle. These situations, the world we live in is not just a physical world. There is a spiritual aspect to it, which is very, very much real. But due to I suppose, where the things that we have ignored, the things that Irish people haven't paid attention to and have just, forgotten about it, you've got many children now in this country that grow up and the relationship with God is not there. They don't know God. They don't know how to connect with God on a deeper level. And so where you leave a void yourself, what do you think is going to come in and fill it? Something else will come in and fill the void that you're failing to do. If you don't secure your home, best believe a thief can break in easily, or somebody can come in and take what they want out of your home. And I think these is where, that's an area that Irish people we have to hold our hands up and say, yeah, we've gone wrong in that we failed at upholding our values, not only from a spiritual perspective, but even at a cultural perspective. When you look at schooling, I went to school for a predominant part in this country. What Irish was, the Irish language itself, was just like something you were forced to learn. It wasn't something that's necessary a part of the culture. And most people look at it as just it's just a language that we don't even speak, right? It's a language that nobody even speaks. And you don't understand, by ignoring those little things about your culture, which you should promote, it allows another thing to take precedent. It allows other cultures, and it weakens your defense systems and things that you can protect. And in my opinion, Ireland spiritually was weakened by some of those actions that the Catholic Church done. And I believe those actions were done specifically for that, to detach Irish people from a true connection with God. Because prior to that, Ireland was very much a country that had a strong relationship with God. And now that's no longer there, in my opinion. But I do not fear, because I know God is a God of restoration, and He will restore anything that belongs to Him in the best manner possible. And I believe all of this chaos and all this carnage that's happening, I believe the true solution is God that can help solve that. God, there's nothing that God cannot do in terms of putting the right leaders in position, leaders that are God-fearing leaders, leaders that have the true love of God and the true love of men within them. Because what people have to understand, the love of people and responsibility in the face of money, only the true power of God can help you keep your values, your core values, and maintain and avoid being corrupted by the things of this world, and riches especially. That you sell out your own people, and it doesn't matter to you how much you make as long as people are suffering, right? Only God can do that. And that's one of the reasons why I don't, in my opinion, I'll never vote for a president. I will never label anybody as my leader, because that's a position that belongs solely to God. Solely to God, the person that created me, gave me a purpose, sent me on this earth, that put a soul in me. My mother and father may have given birth, and they were a vessel through which I came here, but the soul of a human being, only God can do that. Humans can't recreate that. So you got to understand, and I never vote for any leader, because they have their own gods behind their eyes. They don't have the true love of God within their eyes. That's what it looks like from the outside. Now, look, personally, we don't know people's personal lives, but from the outside, what it looks like, they're not God-fearing people, and they have different gods behind their eyes. And so I'd never vote for anybody like that. The person I put at the head of everything is God. And I think Ireland has failed to place God at the head of the country, place God at the head of the core values, place God at the head of every single, in your families and things like that. Because trust me, the only person that can protect you, your families, your resources, everything is God. And many of your children, many Irish children now grow up without a deep relationship with God. They don't understand the importance of God, living lives that are reckless, living lives that are full of sin, full of drugs, full of alcohol, full of fornication. And look, that's not many, and there is a large population of our young people that are out there, all the, consuming alcohol and all of these type of things, which really destroys the soul, really destroys the inner man and the inner purpose that they have and the connection with God above all. But the Catholic Church has played its part. I do understand that. But what people have to understand, as I said, okay, where did we go wrong? Where were we weakened? And how can we strengthen that? And a big part of that is spiritually to be strengthened. A big part of that is for Ireland to be spiritually strengthened and the Irish people to be spiritually strengthened. And know the importance of God and place God at the forefront. And I can assure you, many of the problems that you face, many of the insecurities that are there and the concerns will be resolved. I do believe God will do that, and He can. And I think He wants to. Not I think, I know that that's what He wants to, because there's just certain things that kind of points to that needle. And I think people really, really need to have a look at that. I think that's a worthy conversation, which is open to discussion and open to feedback. I'd really love people's opinions on this topic. Thank you. God bless.